Has another Ivy League betting group cracked the lottery? 66 winning lottery tickets for roughly $6.3 million. That's how much this Ivy League betting group has won. What's up with Ivy League alumni cracking lottery? For this particular lottery group, they're alumni of Princeton University. So far, they've won more than $6 million from lotteries all over the U.S. Exactly how they're doing it and exactly what their profit margins are isn't exactly clear. What's different from the methods of other lottery groups? Are they just doing the same brute force method? Or is it a different method with a twist? This betting group's unusual winning streak really started getting media attention after Manuel Montori cashed in his winning tickets in Indiana. Normally, a winner winning the top prize would get some attention, but it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. However, because Manuel cashed in not one, but 61 winning tickets all at once. That's how the group got everyone's attention in 2020. All of the group's winnings for those 61 tickets came from the same game called $7 million Mega Cash. Just one of those tickets sells for $30. Most of Manuel's winners were for $1,000. His total for that day was around $88,000. That was just one day in just one state for the group. Manuel had been on an 18-month winning streak, and that winning streak included much larger paydays. Manuel is part of a betting group that includes at least 3 other known Princeton alumni. Matthew Gibbons, Hannah Davinroy, and Zoë Buonaiuto make up the rest of Black Swan Capital LLC, a company Manuel incorporated. The group's biggest payday came back in October of 2020. On one lucky day in October, Manuel collected the $5 million top prize from a scratch-off ticket in Missouri, and the group had many other wins as well. Manuel wasn't the only member to collect the cash. For example, Hannah collected $121,000 from the Missouri lottery in September of 2020. She also collected a cool $1 million from the DC lottery in December of 2019. There's also a very good chance that they've had other big paydays that just haven't been reported if they aren't obligated to. But the thing is, lotteries today have been extremely careful to combat the brute force methods of betting groups. Black Swan's winning record begs the question, did they come up with their own formula? Are they actually profitable? Have they actually found a way to beat the lottery in a new way? In Indiana, Hannah and Zoe went on a buying spree in the final months of the Mega Cash game. They bought as many as 400 tickets at a time during several visits. Of course, the clerk working the counter got curious. They actually told the clerk that they were conducting a study that would later be shared on YouTube. Ultimately, the clerk estimated the girls purchased around 1,600 tickets at a cost of $48,000. And that was just at that store. The other 60 winning tickets Manuel cashed in for $88,000 were bought from more than 4 dozen different stores all over Indiana, according to lottery records. If they spent similar amounts of cash at each store, they would have spent at least $2.3 million. Then there's the time and gas involved for each of the trips. Winning the $7 million ticket was actually what they needed to turn a profit, but they didn't find it on this betting spree. We don't need to say winning $88,000 to try and cover $2.3 million is a losing proposition, and that wasn't the only time their betting has been unprofitable. For example, in 2019, they were close to winning $1 million in the Hoosier lottery draw at Indiana State Fair, but they ended up going home with just a $500 consolation prize. However, they hit their jackpot on another betting spree. In Missouri, Hannah and Zoe bought thousands of $5 million cash extravaganza tickets. This time, Hannah and Zoe were dropping roughly $8,000 every time they visited a store. And their big gamble paid off big time on this trip. Black Swan Capital had found a $5 million winner, and Manuel swooped in to collect this big prize as well. So, what exactly was the group's strategy? No expert has been able to figure it out so far. They only have guesses. It seems like the members use publicly available data on ticket sales and unclaimed prizes. Basically, when they know a jackpot hasn't hit, they do the calculations to see whether or not it'd be profitable for them to play. Lottery sites will often update their website daily with this information about how many prizes have been claimed for each scratch-off game. But it's still incomplete information, something we'll get to in a bit. The more information any betting group has, the more advantage they have for a profit. Manuel and his partners aren't exactly talking about their money-making machine. All four of them have avoided interviews and generally kept a low profile regarding their winning across the country. They only have been in front of the media when it's required for someone to be. Black Swan Capital first came up in connection with the lottery after Hannah posed with a giant $1 million check made out to the company back in December of 2019. The winning ticket was actually purchased at the same liquor store as a $100,000 winner Manuel had cashed in 9 months earlier. Black Swan Betting Group is classified as an open-ended investment fund. In case you didn't know it, the term Black Swan event refers to an extremely rare event that happens in the right conditions. So what's publicly known about the members? Manuel majored in philosophy at Princeton. He graduated in 2017 and he worked as an analyst at the Princeton University investment company, which manages the university's endowment, just like the name suggests. The rest of the members all attended Princeton University as well. Matthew Gibbons majored in computer science and history and then went to work for ZX Ventures, an investment group part of InBev in New York City. Hannah Davinroy studied physics at Princeton and graduated with Manuel and Matthew in 2017. She then got a job in New York at Bloomberg NEF, the energy research arm of Bloomberg. Zoë Buonaiuto went to Princeton and earned her doctorate in 2018 in history. There have been successful betting groups before Black Swan Capital, such as Random Strategies, formed by James Harvey from MIT, and GS Investment Strategies, formed by Jerry and Marge Selby. Click here for the links to those videos and about these betting groups. Even with these profitable betting groups from years past, experts have doubts that it could result in reliable profits in today's ever-adapting lottery games. For example, the odds of winning the $7 million jackpot in the Hoosier Lottery scratch-off game was about 1 in 2.7 million. Even if the group improved those odds and purchased thousands of tickets, they would still face a significant risk of missing the jackpot. And officials know that these games aren't cracked using the same brute force tactics employed by the other betting group. According to Philip Stark, a stat professor at UC Berkeley who studies lottery odds, Black Swan Capital's lottery betting doesn't make sense. Jeffrey Misnikowski is another statistician at the University of Buffalo. He says that there are a lot of variables that go into calculations, but he still can't figure out how the group is doing it. His guess is that the group must have access to insider information that's not publicly available. According to him, lotteries just haven't put out enough public information that any algorithm that the Black Swan Group could have come out with to figure it out. Basically, it seems to us that he's saying either they have inside information or they're just gambling. But executives of the state lotteries haven't been concerned about Black Swan's winning streak. In fact, lottery officials in Indiana, Missouri, and DC all stated that they did their vetting on the members before giving their winnings, according to the newspaper, the Indiana Star. Nicole Jordan, the director of marketing and communications for the DC Lottery, explains that they do vetting on their winners just so there's transparency for the players. They want to make sure the game is as fair as possible for anyone involved, no matter how skilled they are. Jordan admits that the information they put out definitely helps some players. She said, quote, "Some people are better gamblers." Wendy Baker, communications manager for the Missouri Lottery, told Indy Star that nothing about Black Swan came back as unusual. And betting groups aren't anything new to lottery officials. It's been going on for decades. However, Baker did tell one interesting fact about lotteries. According to her, just because a prize hasn't been won, it does not necessarily mean the ticket is still in the field. Apparently, for the Missouri Lottery scratch-off game, appropriately called Scratchers, they don't track the jackpot. They don't have certainty on what's happened to a jackpot ticket until it's actually claimed. If it's true that they don't track it, then it's true that it's impossible to tell what's happened to the ticket. So the winning ticket could easily be bought by someone and accidentally thrown away. This makes the Black Swan Betting Group strategy even more curious. So far, the only thing known for sure about Black Swan Capital is that they exist. What's not out in the open is how they're doing it. Stat experts are extremely curious to the method they seem to have figured out. It's impossible to know exactly how much Manuel and his partners have profited from the prizes they've won. Maybe, just maybe, they're not profitable at all so far. Here's what's next.